I say, not run. Don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone.
Amazing. He's like the white Muhammad Ali. He might not talk like Muhammad Ali, but he is the Muhammad Ali of the last generation.
Of an all-time great. Not a generational great, an all-time great. A generational great would almost dictate that Oleksandr Usyk is just a great in the last 10, 15 years. No. Oleksandr Usyk is a great.
Oleksandr Usyk offered his thoughts on Floyd Mayweather's statement, highlighting that boxing is meant to be a sport of respect and discipline, not a brawl. He pointed out that real fighters earn their reputation through action in the ring, not just by talking tough or avoiding confrontation.
Listen, boxing, it's sport and the gentleman. It's not a street fight. It's a boxing.
Do you think
boxing?
Dirty
It's a boxing.
Say it again.
Do you think he was being dirty during the whole fight?
I don't have idea. I have no idea.
No.
Maybe.
At the same time, observers have pointed out the noticeable contrast between Oleksandr Usyk and Floyd Mayweather. Usyk is often praised for his humility and lack of ego, even with his impressive track record. Unlike Mayweather, who continues to project an image of superiority within the sport, Usyk stands out through his respectful and down-to-earth approach, demonstrating that true greatness doesn't need to be loud or self-congratulatory.
The best of all time. I know a lot of people are kind of probably going to hear me say that and say, you're going too far, you're this, that. Because I've seen that straight away. As soon as Usyk did that, he's 2-time undisputed heavyweight, 1-time cruiserweight, 3-time undisputed. His resume, yes, look, at heavyweight, it's a lot of rematches, but it's the way he's doing it.
Yeah.
And he's not just, okay, he could have 10 world, Deontay Wilder has 10 world title defenses.
Yeah.
Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury are the only ones you really have any kind of weight to them. Usyk is taking on the perceived either number 1 or number 2 in these defenses.
Yeah.
Fury perceived number 1. AJ at the time 1. Dubois number 2. He's taking like, all right, who's the next in line? All right, I'm fighting him.
Yeah.
That's the way he's doing it.
And he's doing it in a way in which is so beautiful to watch.
Derek Chisora has expressed deep respect for Oleksandr Usyk's remarkable mental strength and skill in the ring. He described Usyk as a focused, disciplined fighter with unwavering determination. Chisora even joked that facing someone like Usyk would require a bit of madness, highlighting how tough and frustrating it is to go up against him. He applauded Usyk's footwork, ring IQ, and composure under pressure, calling him a true technician. While Usyk may appear approachable outside the ring, Chisora noted that once the fight begins, he transforms into a relentless and formidable opponent.
Listen, what I'm saying is this, yeah. To beat Oleksandr Usyk, you have to be mentally disturbed in your head. Yeah?
You have to be mentally disturbed.
Yeah, because you have to understand.
Or to take the fight in the first place.
Yeah, because when I saw him a couple of months ago,
yeah.
I had a coffee with him, we were just chatting. The guy lives in Ukraine.
Yep.
Yeah. He goes, oh, before I came on the plane, I was sleeping in my house, and then those missiles were going over my house, and I didn't want to go in the bunker. I was like, I'll just go to sleep. There's some craziness, isn't it? I mean, like, imagine you now, you're in your house in Barna, Timbuktu, and then missiles are going. What are you gonna be like?
Yeah, he's cut from very different stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then remember, so you have to come in there looking to go to the other side because he's looking to go to the other side. Mate, can you do us a favor? Can you stop beating us up?
No.
Derek Chisora has drawn a striking comparison between Oleksandr Usyk and the legendary Muhammad Ali, referring to Usyk as this generation's answer to the boxing icon. He praised Usyk's exceptional movement, sharp timing, and high-level ring intelligence, traits that are especially rare among heavyweights. Rather than relying on sheer power, Chisora pointed out that Usyk uses finesse and smart strategy to outmaneuver his opponents. He noted that Usyk's composed nature and quiet confidence evoke memories of Ali, blending style with substance. For Chisora, watching Usyk fight is like observing poetry in motion, bringing a refined, almost artistic quality back to the heavyweight division, reminiscent of Ali's timeless influence.
Everybody gets it wrong. You don't box this guy. It's like, how can I explain it to you in a way you understand? You can't box him.
He's just too good.
He's just unbelievable great. Yeah, forget good, he's amazing. Yeah, he's great, he's amazing. He's like the white Muhammad Ali. He might not talk like Muhammad Ali, but he is the Muhammad Ali of the last generation. You understand? We have to give him the credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is that guy.
Prominent boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has added his voice to those who see Oleksandr Usyk as more than just a title holder. He sees him as a truly rare talent. Having worked with many elite fighters over the years, Hearn highlighted how exceptional Usyk's abilities are, describing him as one of the most technically skilled boxers of this era. Usyk's ability to move up from cruiserweight to heavyweight without losing his trademark speed, precision, or calm under pressure has impressed fans and experts alike. Hearn's comments go beyond simple praise, they underscore how Usyk is redefining what's possible for today's heavyweight fighters.
Evans.
Just, you're talking about one of the great generational. I watched the first 2 rounds, and Dubois looked really dangerous. Came out, backed him up, and then Usyk just decided, I can't allow him to back me up, so I'm going to go on the front foot and box aggressive here. And he knocked him spark out. Unbelievable. Just a true generational great.
Following his latest commanding win, Oleksandr Usyk has firmly cemented his place among boxing's elite. Analysts now rank him as the 4th greatest fighter in history, an honor seldom given to active athletes. This recognition isn't just about his undefeated record, but also reflects the caliber of opponents he's faced, the dominant fashion in which he's beaten them, and the remarkable consistency he's shown throughout his career. Usyk's success across multiple weight divisions, often against top-tier fighters in their own backyard, highlights his extraordinary adaptability. Labeling him one of the all-time greats isn't exaggeration, it's a conclusion grounded in facts, performances, and the legacy he's building.
What's yours, Jerry? What's yours?
Oleksandr is the 4th greatest fighter on my personal all-time list.
Wow.
It's number 4. He's only behind Ali.
Oh, on your all-time list?
All time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Only behind Floyd, Ali, and Manny. So, I'm really high on Oleksandr.
Oleksandr Usyk represents more than just championship status. He embodies precision, strategy, and mastery in the ring. Outside of it, he's composed and unassuming, a stark contrast to the focused intensity he displays during a fight. Usyk doesn't seek fame through bravado or endless talk. He lets his skills do the talking, proving himself through action rather than words.
The WBO, Frank Warner very close, Joseph Parker is obviously a Queensberry fighter. So, there could be potential that they do what they did with this fight, what they did with the Dubois fight. It also means as well that, and maybe this is why, potentially it's because Riyadh season shows from November onwards, and I doubt we'll see Oleksandr Usyk in the ring this year because it's only July, but he's only fought, and I would imagine Usyk is going to be one of these 6 to 8 month type of guys. That's the way he's been over the last 2 years. So you're looking probably February next year at the earliest when he finally fights again. So for me, it's like, right, well, that will be after the Riyadh and Ring Magazine's pay-per-views end, as in they're not going to be doing pay-per-view anymore. Maybe they look at that fight and think, Usyk Parker, it's a fight that, with the greatest respect, and Oleksandr Usyk is a very big name, it maybe does need that pay-per-view wall behind it in order to facilitate the purses that they could potentially forking out for it. So maybe that's why Riyadh season won't do it. Now, the Zone obviously have not ruling out pay-per-view, they're still going to do pay-per-view.
Oleksandr Usyk's record speaks for itself. He's defeated both season champions and rising contenders, with his win over Daniel Dubois further solidifying his legacy. Dubois, known for his size and power, appeared to be a formidable threat, but Usyk outclassed him with calculated precision. Despite his continued dominance, Usyk has never let success inflate his ego. He avoids self-glorification, even as others begin to place him among the sport's all-time greats. In an era where flash and bravado often take center stage, Usyk's composed demeanor and quiet self-belief offer a refreshing contrast.
It was sort of broken up in different directions. Even I wasn't sure because although I believe Usyk is the fighter of the generation in this weight class, he's at an age where, overnight you sort of show up and you don't have it anymore. Ali randomly lost to Leon Spinks around this age and whatnot, So you could get where all of a sudden, it's not there on the night. So, and you had
heavyweights takes 1 second. One split second, you're off.
Yeah, exactly. And you also had a very motivated Dubois to add to that second, who's a very powerful puncher and has sort of this bully mentality when he gets you in an uncomfortable position. But, Usyk, flawless performance technically, stepping out to that weak side consistently, mixing up the jabs, making things uncomfortable for Dubois rhythm-wise.
He seemed more aggressive, right? Normally, I think with some of the bigger guys, he slides
I
to the
think
weak side, slides to the weak side. This was different.
I think with Dubois, the psychology is kind of out of the bag in that you got to kind of bully the bully, and Dubois came out trying to bully him a little bit, so he started touching him and hitting him, and he started taking it to him because you start backing him up, you start putting him in a situation where he starts to doubt himself, and Dubois doesn't really come back from that very often. As a matter of fact,
he doesn't bend, he breaks.
In the fight, I thought he's a little bit awkward, Dubois. I don't know, but
he's one of those awkward strong guys.
Yeah,
he's just like super strong, awkward as hell.
He goes down and he takes the full count, and then he just gets up at 10 and walks across the ring right in front of Usyk, who's celebrating middle of the ring, like with his hands up in the air. Just casually walks right by Usyk's celebration as if he didn't just get counted out to 10.
Foreman Ali. Remember, he walks right to his corner.
Yeah. But I was like, dude, you could have got up. You waited to 10, and then
he was a beaten man.
You waited to 10, and then not only you get up, you don't even have the presence of mind to realize like I'm walking right into the picture where he's celebrating.
But Paulie, he was a beaten man before the first knock.
What sets Oleksandr Usyk apart is that the admiration he receives goes beyond his own era. Fans, former champions, and boxing experts now mention his name alongside the sport's timeless legends. Usyk isn't just seen as the standout fighter of his generation, he's being recognized as one of the greatest of all time. His legacy is already taking shape, with each performance studied as a blueprint for technical excellence. Achieving undisputed status in multiple weight classes and defeating elite opponents at their peak, with poise, intelligence, and class, has firmly secured his place in boxing history.
He tried to jab, he tried to throw that right hand, and he landed that right hand a couple of times, by the way. He got Oleksandr Usyk in the corner, and he was trying to work, but ultimately, he's in there with an all-time great. Not a generational great, an all-time great. A generational great would almost dictate that Oleksandr Usyk is just a great in the last 10, 15 years. No. Oleksandr Usyk is a great since boxing began. Since boxing began, people. Understand what we're watching here. We're not watching a generational great. We're watching an all-time great. That's what Daniel Dubois was in there with. There is a discussion in my brain right now as I'm talking to you about where Oleksandr Usyk is when it comes to the best heavyweights of all time. Like in my head right now, I'm thinking, who beats him?
A growing discussion among boxing enthusiasts centers on whether Oleksandr Usyk has outclassed legends like Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather in terms of pure boxing skill. While Ali remains an icon and Mayweather retired undefeated, some critics question whether Mayweather faced the same level of top-tier competition during his prime. Unlike Mayweather, whose career was often defined by defensive tactics and savvy promotion, Usyk's acclaim comes from his technical prowess and fearless approach inside the ring.
Interesting heavyweight division, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought of Usyk's performance, where he ranks on the all-time list. I know, everybody was big into their nostalgia. But remember, Soviets were not turning pro until the 90s, and I think that makes a big difference. That's another thing. Heavyweights are bigger. Lefties are more common now, and also the Soviet era of fighters did not start turning pro until the 90s. So the old days, they didn't have to deal with those guys. So a lot of things that also favor Usyk being a GOAT. But of course, man, it's hard to pick against Ali being the GOAT.
Ben Davidson, a well-respected figure in the boxing world, has also expressed admiration for Usyk's achievements. He highlighted the rare accomplishment of Usyk dominating both the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions, something very few fighters have managed. Holding undisputed titles in 2 weight classes speaks to Usyk's versatility, endurance, and unwavering performance. Davidson's endorsement carries extra weight since he approaches boxing from a trainer's perspective, deeply understanding the sport's technical complexities rather than just being a fan.
Makes it obviously another thing for you.
It's not really a good time for me to talk about that sort of thing. So,
besides just how good is Oleksandr Usyk? We've seen him now come into the heavyweight division, fight a Derek Chisora, fight Anthony Joshua twice, fight Tyson Fury twice, and he's the undisputed heavyweight. No, he was until obviously the belt let go. But what do you make of him as a fighter? Just sum him up, special fighter.
Yeah, he's put himself in the mix to be. He's put himself in the mix as one of the greatest heavyweights that's ever been. So, undisputed cruiserweight, undisputed heavyweight, amazing.
Oleksandr Usyk's path hasn't been easy or carefully guarded. He never padded his record with easy opponents or waited for perfect circumstances. From early on, he sought out tough battles, even if that meant stepping into hostile environments. Whether facing undefeated champions or crowd favorites, Usyk consistently embraced challenges many others shy away from. This fearless mindset has earned him widespread respect. He firmly believes that true greatness comes through overcoming hardship, a principle that has guided every step of his career. In a time when many fighters shield their records, Usyk chose to take risks, and it's clearly paying dividends.
Has dropped Daniel Dubois! What a shot!
I'm sorry. I can't help it, man. I fucking love this. Honestly, I fucking love this game.
What a performance! He couldn't quit! He's missed it! It's over! It's over! The greatest of all time!
Fuck me. I'm sorry for going on like a lunatic, right? But it was unbelievable. And it's funny how this fight all came about, right? The controversy in the last fight, which for me was never controversial. It was a low blow, simple as that. And I don't think we've ever seen Oleksandr Usyk ever look for an easy way to win. In fact, I think of all the fighters on planet Earth, he is the one who takes the hardest road to win. There's no tune-up fights for Oleksandr Usyk. It's the biggest fight in a heavier weight than he should even be fighting at. And he makes life harder for himself, not easier. And I think he has proven his character time and time again. But yet he was accused of not being, a real Christian because he was a cheat. He was accused of deserving an Oscar because he was a play actor and robbing Daniel Dubois of what should have rightfully been his, which was a world title. And after the Tyson Fury fight, Daniel Dubois stepped in the ring and called him out. And Oleksandr Usyk immediately turns to Turki Al-Sheikh and says, Mr. Excellency, make the fight. He had no problem in setting this up. And immediately you kind of think, he was in the middle of talking about his father, I think at the time. It was an emotional moment. That's a time where when you've accomplished what he's done, you deserve respect. And I think he was disrespected there. And I think he took that personally, in the words of Michael Jordan. Now, in the first round, Oleksandr Usyk did exactly what he needed to do to Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois coming in with a load of confidence, wanting to be the aggressor, wanting to be the dominant bull that he was against Anthony Joshua.
Dave Caldwell, a knowledgeable voice in boxing, has pointed out that Usyk's combination of high activity and pinpoint accuracy is nearly unparalleled in the heavyweight ranks. Unlike many heavyweights who depend on sudden powerful strikes, Usyk maintains a consistent and relentless tempo, landing precise shots that gradually break down his opponents. Caldwell emphasized that Usyk's mastery of body work and his ability to control the pace make him incredibly tough to deal with, as he rarely gives his opponents a moment to recover or regroup.
Pick up the pace, and you just still can't go with it. It takes, it does have an effect. But what I'm trying to say is Usyk's work to the body, the volume of body punches. I'd like to see the stats on body punching, be it straights, be it a jab, be it backhands, whatever. Because Usyk's volume of bodywork is what I thought was the difference in the fight. His lead hand activity was probably the best it's been since he's been at heavyweight, maybe. I thought he took away, we were all talking about the Fury right uppercut going into the fight because he had a lot of success. We were all talking about what Tyson's going to do. But, I said Usyk's clever. His people, they're going to look at that and see what they can do better.
Pauli Malignaggi, a former world champion and respected analyst, praised Usyk's latest performance as a display of technical brilliance. He was struck by how smoothly and steadily Usyk maintained his composure throughout the fight. Malignaggi highlighted Usyk's skillful use of angles and movement, which helped him stay out of harm's way while landing effective shots. His ring intelligence, precise footwork, and impeccable timing all stood out as nearly perfect.
Dubois in their rematch stops him early. Was it 4 or 5? I don't even. I'm so caught up in the moment. I don't even know which round it was. It was 4 or 5. But man, it was in the first half of the fight. What a performance by Oleksandr Usyk. And a lot to discuss here, guys. A lot to break down here. First off, Dubois much more successful in the first fight than the second fight. Was the wet ring? Did the wet ring have anything to do with it? I saw in the post-fight interview, Dubois was asked about why he couldn't land his jab. What do you guys think? Was obviously Usyk's gonna make some adjustments. I think the adjustments are gonna be made in rematches. But did the wet ring? Because I thought the wet ring had a big part to do with why Usyk had some trouble in that first fight. And you know, a wet ring hurts footwork guys more. I was a footwork guy. I've worked out sometimes in wet rings. It's frustrating. I've actually thrown temper tantrums in gyms over rings being too wet. So you know, I mean, back in the day, not now. But what I'm saying is, you know, to fight in a wet ring, that had to have some effect on Usyk and his footwork, because he's a footwork guy. And tonight, you just saw his footwork was stupendous, magnificent.
According to Roos, Usyk entered the ring recently fueled by a quiet intensity. Despite his many achievements, some in the boxing world, particularly within the British media and certain fans, continued to underestimate his greatness. Usyk felt his legacy was still underappreciated, and that sense of being overlooked became motivation. He wasn't just fighting to win, he was determined to send a clear message. With focus and resolve, he showed both his critics and the world that he's more than a champion, he's an athlete shaping his legacy and deserving of full recognition.
I think he went out there with bad intentions, didn't he? I think he was on a mission to prove that, you know, 38 isn't old yet. And I was talking to some other guys, including Richie Woodall, and saying that, you know, like, he's gotten better. If you look at his last 3 fights, the first Fury fight, second Fury fight, and this one, each one has gotten better, you know, more dominating each time. So, you know, age is a number, I guess. When you're in the gym all the time, it takes a long time to age.
When we spoke on Thursday, I could tell you were genuinely confident, but did you believe it could be so early and so conclusive?
No, I'd be lying to you if I said that. You know, I mean, no. I thought it could be dominating. I thought he was doing the things that I think Dubois did what I expected him to do, and Usyk did what I expected him to do. You know, he controlled, moved, waited, but then he started landing hard.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for more. Catch you next time.